Remember all that stuff I bought before I picked up the van? Yeah, that's not all still in the van. Hi y'all, welcome to the Ginger Walkabout. So as you can see, I am not in the van. I am still here at my rent house in North Texas. I've been here for a little over a month. My tenant is actually my best friend from college. So I have a room here. I can come and go as I please. And turns out being a landlord, I mean, there's some stuff that's got to get done. So we put in these lovely new floors that you see behind me and did some repairs, got some landscaping done. Anyway, it takes a bit of time. So I've been out of the van, but I thought this was a good time when I'm about to pack her back up and hit the road to go back and review all those things that I bought before I picked up the van, and what I still use and what I don't, and what's going in the van and what is not. Anyway, back there is Kai. Kai is not my dog. He has not replaced the Whiskey dog. Whiskey is here hiding somewhere because he doesn't like cameras. But anyway, Kai makes a couple of cameos, so just wanted to be clear. There are no new dogs. So I had the power cable. Turns out the power cable is the one thing that apparently every RV comes with. So I did not need the power cable. Now I had bought it at Walmart. So I just took it back and returned it at Walmart, no problems whatsoever. So the van came with a power cable that is simply to go from the outside of the van into a 30 amp circuit. So it also came with, and I don't know if the RV dealer threw this in or Winnebago threw this in or where it exactly came from. But this is the little adapter to go from the 30 amp plug into your regular household outlet. So I had purchased a dog bone to do that thing. But this came with the van. I never have used this. So this is staying and this is going. I also have the 30 amp to 50 amp dog bone. I have never used this. Okay? This is really only if you get to a park that only has 50 amp service. So you plug it into the 50 amp thing. It basically cuts out one of the things. So that, because you don't need all of them. You don't need, see, this has got 3 in a ground, and this is on the 30 amp side, only got 2 in a ground. So this basically nullifies one of the 50 amp little doodads. I'm not an electrician, y'all. Anyway, I've never used this, but it's something I want to have. When I'm reorganizing the van, these are the kind of things that are going to get buried as far back in the garage under bed storage as possible. I don't want to be without it, but I don't need it every day. So it's going to get buried, but I am going to keep it. The other thing I acquired was a big old heavy extension cord. You don't want to be using some sad little outdoor extension cord that you use for your Christmas lights, okay? Your van, a lot of juice going, whether it's lithium or not. You got a lot going on. So if you're going to plug into somebody's house, you're going to want a good heavy duty electric cord. So this one is all obviously outdoor weather rated, all the things. It has a light that comes on so you can tell if you're getting power. Anyway, you're going to want a decent extension cord if you are going to be plugging your van in to a regular house outlet. All right, so I switched out my drinking water hose, the big blue one, for a 0G hose. They're just so much lighter and smaller. And to me, way worth it. Yeah, it's just way better. I still have that little 4-footer. I've only used it like twice at like the Flying J. I don't know. I mean, it didn't take up much space, so it might stick around. But I don't know yet. And this is a 25-footer. I have never needed more than 25 feet. So, you know, at any campground, I have never needed more than 25 feet. I do have, and then we had the water pressure regulator, this big bad boy. So everyone talks about how great this is. Thing is, half the time on spigots at campgrounds and RV parks, I can't get this big thing on there. This thing weighs a lot. So I never use this thing. It's not coming with me. It's just staying, it's gonna go here. It's gonna stay here at the house in Texas because I don't ever use it. I mean, I do use a water pressure regulator. Do not get me wrong. Do not hook up your vehicle to water pressure, any kind of water spigot without a water pressure regulator. I just leave it on the filter. So I'm still using the RV water filters. I haven't gotten super fancy because I really don't drink the water out of the tank. So I got my filter, I got my little bendy thing, and then I got my inline water pressure regulator, right? Because that's all I need. So I just leave it permanently affixed on there. So the way I do it is regulator, filter, hose, van. A lot of people hook the filter up to the van and then hose and then to the spigot. I don't see why it's a bad idea to filter the water right from the get-go, and not, filter it before it even gets in your hose, and then your hose stays clean too. Anyway, so that's how I do it, and I just leave that little regulator on there, and she works fine, and I don't even bother with that big one. And then I had the elbow. I don't ever use the elbow. All it is an elbow. It's not even a regulator. It's just an elbow. It's just to keep pressure off your connections on your van. But I've never hooked up that long. I don't really leave the water hooked up. I usually hook up, fill the tank, and unhook. So this guy, I don't really use. So then we have the black tank flush hose. I still have a separate hose for that, just in case there's any backflow. This is just the regular garden variety 0G hose, so that, I can tell the difference between two. You don't need drinking water, obviously, to flush your black tank. You don't need a drinking water hose. Anyway, so I haven't been using a water pressure regulator on this one. Because basically the water just goes in and hits the sprinkler and then flows out the black tank drain. So there's not a lot of pipes in there that pressure's gonna mess up. Does that make sense? Anyway, you do what you want. A lot of times, I know what the water pressure is because I've probably filled my freshwater tank. So when I go to do this, if the water pressure's not like absolutely freaking crazy, I don't even put a pressure regulator on the black tank Sani Flush hose. That's just me. Okay, so the sewer hoses. So the Travado comes with that blue sewer hose that fits in the tube on the outside of the van. And a lot of people swear by it, and I use it. I still use it. But remember how that big red universal connector, right? I use that like twice. Here's the thing. Once you put poop through it, I don't want to unscrew that from the blue hose. And the blue hose won't fit in its cubby with that thing on it. So now you're doing a lot of handling of sewer things. Attaching, detaching, and I wasn't about that. That wasn't for me. So, but then I was running into the problem of, I know, again, people use the blue sewer hose, have no problems with it. I would say the people that use the blue sewer hose exclusively, and have never had any problem, they have a partner in RVing. They have someone that can hold the hose in the end, in the dump, while they're, dumping. So you got one end attached to the van, the other end goes into the hole of the dump. And then, once you open that valve, things start to move. And you can't always keep the hose in the dump. And you really don't want that to come out. That's bad. A lot of times the dumps have lids, but those aren't necessarily heavy enough to keep it in there. I was finding, like, if I could find a big rock, I'd put it on top of it and all that. And I was just like, this blows. And then sometimes it just wasn't long enough, period. It just wasn't long enough. And the other thing is, you're like, okay, well, why don't you just attach it to the end of the van and then, like, pull the thing and run over it. Well, you have to be at the van to push the macerator pump on the gray dump. So you can't be near the dump hole and be near the van a lot of times. So I got one of the big, Rhino sets of sewer hoses. you know, with the swivels and the clear elbow and the 20 feet or the accordion, all that. So I have a bag for that. I'm not bringing it in the house. It's a sewer hose. So I have a bag for that. But that has to stay outside the van. I'm not putting that inside the van with me. So I have experimented with various ways to attach it to the back of the van. At one point I had it on the bike rack. Rookie mistake. Dirt got between the bag and the door of the van and rubbed and scratched my paint. I think it's just the clear coat. I think I can have it buffed out, but it just scraped up all that. So that didn't work. So then I just had it hanging on my ladder and it scraped up my ladder, but that's fine. I don't care about the ladder. So yeah, I mean, I haven't found the perfect solution yet. I'm working on it. That's one of the things that when I'm reorganizing the van, we're going to have to figure out and work on. All right, and then there was like the miscellaneous stuff, right? So I made notes so I wouldn't forget anything. So we had the Eva Dry, these guys, to dehumidify. These weren't great. I mean, let's put it this way. They turn wet, which I assume means that they are absorbing moisture from the air. I used to also have a thing of damp rid in there. I just, you know, it's not gonna pull all the humidity out. So I just got rid of the damp rid. I use these guys. They get really hot, so you plug them in when they change color and they're full of water. You plug them in and they heat up and they dry out, and then you know you can use them again. They get really hot. So I didn't look to see exactly how much electricity this thing uses when it's drying out. But it gets pretty warm, so I'm guessing it's a decent amount. Anything that heats up uses a lot of juice. So I really only dry these out if I'm on shore power or if I'm in somebody's house. It's fun though. You just plug these into people's walls and eventually they notice and they're like, what is that? Yeah. So the EvaDry, still using that. So the rubber floor mats, like the cheap gray ones that I got when I went to pick up the van, I still have them. I haven't found anything else I want more. The rubber helps insulate. They're cheap. They're easy to clean off, shake out, pound on trees, whatever. So I still use this. And then I have some rugs that I just got at Walmart because once winter hit, man, the floor of that van, I tell you, it's freezing. There is no insulation under there. So it just really helps to have some kind of carpet down on there just to help with the insulation. So that's where I am basically on flooring. So the rubber shoe covers, these guys. I used them once or twice. I used them in Mystic. I went to Mystic Pizza and the girls there thought they were ingenious. Here's the thing. I mean, they work. They serve their purpose. They do. However, at the end of the day, you're still getting back into the van with a dirty, wet thing that you have to clean or contain in order to use it again, right? Like, it's still just a dirty, wet thing coming into the van. And the fewer dirty, wet things that come into the van, the better. So I think the rubber shoe covers are going to get left behind. So I got some top feet. These are waterproof, disposable shoe covers. You just slide them over your shoes and then throw them away. So I'm going to try those. We'll see how it goes. I mean, you know, I don't need them that often. They're kind of bulky. There's 100 pieces in here, so there's 50 basically shoe covers, assuming you're putting one on each foot. Anyway, so I'm going to give those a try because I like the idea of when it is muddy and wet out, which isn't that often. Just being able to put these on, do what I need to do, take them off, throw them away, easy peasy. The dog wipes I really still like, so I keep them right by the entry to the van, by the slider. Dog wipes, dog is dirty, dog is smelly, dog is muddy, dog is whatever. I can just grab one before he even gets into the van, wipe him off, and we're good to go. So those I think are really invaluable. Okay, so the doggy paw washer. I used this a couple times. It's not gonna go back in the van. I mean, Whiskey doesn't really care for it, shoving his paws in here. And then again, hey, this is a muddy, wet thing that you've brought into the van that you have to clean. So I think the wipes are just much easier and better. Just wipe off his little paws, throw the wipe away, and you're done. So this guy, while adorable, is not making the cut. The tire pressure gauge, I still have it. It's a little tiny item. I keep it. But, you know, I got the Alpine Halo unit with the Maestro connection to my all my gauges in my vehicle, so I can just pull up my tire pressures instantly on the screen of my head unit. So I don't really ever, you know, manually check the pressure in my tires. You know, I mean, I keep it just in case there's ever an issue, but, you know, I don't really use it. I mean, it's a good thing to have, though. Just make sure you get one that goes to enough PSI that your tires are at. So Travato 65 front, 80 back. The Ultra gauge, which was the gauge that plugs into the OBDII port, whatever, that also on your phone you can look at all of the information coming off of your vehicle. So your tire pressures, your gas mileage, your gauges, your engine temp, all that. So mine is on the van because there was no reason for it not to be. I bought it. But again, I can use my stereo basically to look at, my radio to look at all of that information. The only reason I leave it on the van is because you can set alarms. So my phone will actually alarm if something gets outside the parameters that I set for the Ultra gauge. So that's the only, it's just a backup. And that's the only reason it's still on there. Doesn't hurt anything. If you haven't swapped out your head unit and you don't have an easy way to get that information, then the Ultra gauge is great. Oh yeah, cell phone mounts. I tried like 17 different cell phone mounts in the van. There's no good place on the dash for me anyway. I don't want anything up on the dash. And so there's nothing lower down. There's no surface where you can easily put the thing. And this phone is like, it's the biggest iPhone they make, and it's heavy. And it just keeps falling off. So I don't have a cell phone mount because with Google CarPlay, I have to plug this into USB to do Google CarPlay, and then I just throw the phone down in the drink holder. That's all. Nothing fancy. That's all I do. So no cell phone holders anymore. Fridge thermostat, still use it, still love it, still need it. Has the two sensors, one for the freezer, one for the fridge. Put the little, display up on the wall, and it's all good to go, and I have not had any frozen lettuce. Bed bands. Here they are. Bed bands. These were basically to keep your sheets and everything nicely tucked in around what is a very odd-sized mattress in the Travato and most RVs. I don't use them, though, because A, they're kind of a pain to get on and off. B, they keep getting stuck on the Froley sleep system, which is those little plastic springs under the mattress that are really there to keep the mattress off the bare wood so that you don't get mold and mildew. Anyway, these just kept getting snagged on it. There might be still one on the corner or something in the way back, but you know what? I don't worry about my sheets aren't perfectly tucked in on my bed anymore. Speaking of mattress protectors, I got a new one. I switched to, instead of a full size, I switched to a twin size. And it works great because remember, I have a twin size. The Travato mattress is almost full size. I have a twin sized mattress topper, and there's about that much on each side that the mattress topper does not cover, but I don't sleep over there, so I don't care. And then I went to a twin size mattress protector cover that goes over the whole thing, and that works brilliantly because, normal house mattresses these days, they're that freaking thick. And so when the Travato, when you're only that thick, you've got extra fabric. So the twin size fits just fine over the Travato mattress with the topper and fits much better. There's not a bunch of excess fabric hanging out. So there you go. The wheel chocks. I don't know if I'm going to keep the wheel chocks. I mean, they're good for safety if you've got to change a tire, but I don't have a spare tire. So I'm debating on the wheel chocks. The only time I actually used them was when I put on the Sumo springs. I love my Sumo springs. I recommend everybody get Sumo springs. I recommend everybody put their own Sumo springs on because if I can do it, you can do it. Anyway, but yeah, so the wheel chocks may not go with me. They may. I don't know. I also feel like I can just find something to chalk the wheels with in a pinch. The little bug lantern, it seems to work. Like, it's not one of those big like zappers that you can just sit out and watch it zap bugs in a very satisfying, sizzling way. But I find bug carcasses in it. So it's clearly working. It's USB, I charge it up. It's fine. It just hangs back by my bed, and if I'm in a buggy area, I turn it on. Hopefully it zaps some of the bugs that are back by my bed. So it's fine. I think it was worth the price and worth the space it takes up in the van. But for real bug killing, you got to get you a racket zapper. I love this daggum thing. I've talked about it multiple times in videos. This is, I mean, you just go to town. So this is definitely something, cheap item, well worth the investment, totally worth the space it takes up in the van, for sure. All right, so now to the final items that you probably will remember from that previous video. So you will recall in the first video I did, I had some furniture, some creature comforts. So I had the little folding table that was like, yeah. So this is it. I still have it. I rarely use it. It's not a pain to put together, but I mean, you got to take these legs out and like extend them and screw them in here, and I don't care for that part. And it's just not very stable. I mean, it's super small, which is great, but it's just not very stable. And so I only used it a few times. So yeah, I wasn't using it, and I was like, you know what I need? I need a bigger table. So I got the big Coleman camp table, right? The one with the aluminum legs, and the top rolls out, and like 4 people apparently can sit and hang out at it. This thing's way too big. I'm again the Goldilocks of something in the van. So this is just too big. I've only used it once because putting it out's a pain. And like literally all I use the table for is to set my cocktail on when I'm, outside having my evening wine. So yeah, this is not going back in the van either. I will pick up a smaller, just fold table, at Camping World at some point, or at Cabela's or wherever. But the big table's just not what I need. So then, of course, let us speak of my beloved wine chair. If you recall, this chair was sold to me on 2 points. Really, one was the little tray that went here that I could do my laptop on. I never did it. It's so much easier to just work in the van. My computer in the van is set up. I just work in there. So I rarely work like out in a camp area. And then it was the wine chair, the wine holdy handles that I love so much. Here's the problem. So first of all, to get the wine into the clip, you kind of got to pop it in there. And then you kind of got to pop it out. It's not super easy. That's Kai, not my dog. Comes with the house. He's helping. Anyway, so then I got these little wine glasses, stemmed wine glasses with lids, right? So that when you pop it in, it doesn't spill. When you pop it out, it doesn't spill. Y'all, seriously, I don't. This is way too complicated. I drink out of my big, double-size, lidded, stemless tumbler cup. Like, I don't need stemmed wine glasses, which means I don't need a wine chair. This thing is big. This thing is really big. And the only 2 places it can really go in the van for me is on the floor, just laying in the garage area, which I'm trying to clear out, or like hanging off the back of the ladder. So I'm sorry to say that as comfy and lovely as the wine chair is, the wine chair is being retired. It is not continuing on the road with me. Best laid plans, right? So what is going on the road with me is this chair. This little guy Obviously, super small, fits in a cabinet, even fits in the doors, the storage compartments in the doors, the cab doors, it'll fit in there. So, and it's like a regular size, it's not a low to the ground chair. I'll put a link to it down below. A lot of people talk about them on the Travato group. It's not the easiest thing to set up because you've got to like get the fabric over the frame. And that can take a minute, but it's like super comfy. It's high back. It's off the ground. It's like a proper camp chair. It's just so much smaller and so much better. So this chair is my new chair, and the wine chair is just going to find a lovely home here in North Texas. So a couple of other items that I want to tell you about that I've actually acquired. And I think I'm really excited about it. I think are going to be very, very helpful to me in the van. So first of all, I got an air fryer. Y'all, I've been using it in the house, and it is fantastic. Because I don't have a convection oven. I miss roasted vegetables. I miss crispy things. And so I've got this air fryer. It's tiny. It's perfect for one person. Yeah, it does use a bit of energy because obviously, what do we say? Things that heat up use a lot of juice. So, you know, I mean, I just gotta be mindful of that, but it cooks so fast that it's not like it's on for long periods of time. So I'm very excited about my air fryer. And then I got a bicycle, y'all. I'm super excited. I didn't really want to trek and spend all the money, but that's just a long story. That's how it ended up. So now I have a bicycle. And I'm thinking that's going to help me be a lot more mobile. If I am at a campsite and I don't want to like break it down camp and go somewhere, I just hop on the bike. I can tool around the beach. I can do some trail riding. So I think I'm really going to enjoy that. So I got the bike a couple days ago. Very excited. And also with the bike rack down, now I have a place to hopefully put my sewer hoses that's not quite so hideous hanging off the back of the van. Seriously, Winnebago, we need a better sewer hose solution. Or somebody needs to come up with a really good ladder storage box. Because I would put a storage box on the ladder. So we may work on that. Yeah, so those are the two big new items that I'm introducing to the van. And I think will make my van life much more enjoyable. So anyway, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, I love your comments. I try to answer all of them down in the comments. I totally appreciate it. We're over 400 subscribers now. So yeah, super exciting. And I will be back on the road in another week or two. And so hopefully we will do some more videos as I get moving again. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the road.